Kathy's here right in the door first. No chopping firewood tonight. Lynx fur's here. Let's get a roll on then. Broadcasting live from beautiful downtown Cleveland. It's station WDWL TV with me, the grumpy old man, and our show is brought to you by Grumpy Vulture Productions. No bow. Thank you. So, how is everybody doing? It actually warmed up to 23 degrees today. Hey, ay. Although, I'll tell you what. I'm probably going to jinx myself. Out of all the vehicles that I've ever owned, including the shitbox, which was one of the most reliable pieces of equipment I ever owned. This Passat, you hit the key and that engine barely makes one revolution and it's up and running. Car's amazing. The more I drive it, the more I wish I could really drive it. 4225. All righty. Outstanding. Well, listen around. Only 68 here. Only. Yeah, well, right now it's 22. And believe me, my furnace knows it's 22. Thank God I'm on budget billing with the gas company. Holy shit. Although I'll tell you what, it is an efficient furnace. I mean, yeah, gas prices are through the roof, but that 90 plus definitely, it uses every molecule of natural gas to the full extent. 44 down there. Yeah, double what we got here. I was reading more news articles today. Yeah, rub it in, Ron. The fallout that's going on in Florida, well, in all of Publix markets, people are protesting by not buying beef, although who the hell can afford beef? Yeah, like my thumbnail. The beef is priced by the length of the horn. I'll tell you what, I would love to go down to Texas and see longhorn cattle in person. It is unbelievable, the horns on them pieces of beef. They definitely need extra large doorways. Yeah, we have to go through an annual bullshit thing of picking utility company every year. They give you this fucking website, apples to apples, which is stupid. And then you get a listing of like 400 different public utility suppliers, and then you got to read all the fine print because one will have a super low rate, but it's only 3 months, and then another one will be 6 months, and another one 9 months, and then you get one for a year. But then you got to watch because it might be a variable. And oh, God, I miss the days of you moved in a house and you had one electric company, one gas company. Dropped something. Pardon, I thought I dropped something. Although in Cleveland at the time, we did have two companies. We had the Illuminating Company and we had Cleveland Public Power. So you picked one or the other. But if you ended up with Cleveland Public Power, half the time you didn't have power. And then they stopped using the power plant and they bought electricity from Canada. Well, East Ohio Gas merged with a company called Dominion. So for several years, it was Dominion East Ohio. Then this new company called Enbridge bought Dominion East Ohio. So now our gas company is Enbridge. And this, the thing that gets me, Enbridge still supplies my gas and handles any problems with gas lines. But I have to pick a gas company to supply to Enbridge, which it's the same goddamn gas coming out of the same fucking pipe. But every year we have to go down, look at rates, look for the lowest rate, switch companies. Oh, it is bullshit. You can't just call the Illuminating Company and say, I want to sign up with you. And the girl will say, well, yeah, but who is your supplier? You are. No. Who is supplying us? I don't know. Well, you have to go on a website and look. Somebody has to give us the electricity. And then once they give it to us, we'll give it to you. Every year. Because like last year, the gas supplier I've got, my contract expired. I wasn't paying attention. My rate was like $3.30 per million cubic feet. I get a bill the next month, and it's like triple. And then I look, and it's the same company, but they automatically renewed me at the highest rate, which was like $9.90 per million cubic feet. Oh, I got on the phone and I says, I'm done with you people. I'm done. I'm switching. I'm done. Then the girl's like, would you like to stay with us if I can lock you into a year rate? Depending on the rate. Well, then she comes up with, we can do $3.03 per million cubic feet, guaranteed for a year. I said, fine, put it in writing. Did they give me that rate when they renewed me? No. They were hoping I wouldn't notice and they could jack it triple of what I was paying. Oh, yeah, I looked at that bill and I was like, is somebody tap into my gas line? And then I look at the rate, $9.90 per million. Oh, I got on the phone. Girl, can I help you? I'm done with you people. I'm done. What seems to be the problem? Look at my account. What do you mean, what seems to be the problem? $9.90? Well, if I give you a lower rate, will you stay with us? And you know, you've got a lot of seniors that aren't tech savvy. And like I say, you can't go up to the ward office and get this paperwork done like they used to for helping you make sure that you got the lowest gas and lowest electric rate. So you got some poor senior, retiree, they get their bill and it's $300. Holy shit. They walk over to the thermostat. Okay, it went from 62 now to 52. I'll just wear 37 sweaters. They don't bother to look and go, oh, look, I got screwed on the rate. And every fucking year, you have to go through this shit. So, in another week or so, I'll get my notice that my contracts are expiring, and then I got to go on this fucking website and, like right now, this company I'm with is out of some Plano, Texas. Now, they're not piping gas from Plano, Texas to my house. But they're my supplier, even though the gas is coming through Enbridge pipes. It makes no sense. Oh, it is absolutely amazing the rates that they can give you to keep you. When you threaten to quit because the new rate they're sticking it in your ass. Oh, wait a minute. We're charging you $50 a month. Wait a minute. Oh, if I get that down to $9.99 a month, will you stay with us? Why didn't you do that to begin with? Because they're hoping you don't notice. That's part of the bad problem with auto pay. Because they're figuring, okay, I'm on auto pay. I don't have to worry about writing a check or doing a money transfer. It's all handled. And then by the time you notice that they just stuck it in your ass, you can't quit because then you'll pay like a $200 penalty. Now, the middle of the month, my deal on my cable, or not my cable, my internet, the deal I got is coming up for expiration. Now, I told you in order to get the deal, I got free cell phone service for a year through Spectrum. So I had to call consumer and say, I'm canceling this line and I'm going with Spectrum because I'm getting it supposedly free. That deal expires the middle of this month. First of all, I don't want the phone service because they're not going to give me a deal on phone service. I will go back to consumer with my phone service. Now my argument is going to be my ultra high speed internet. They're going to want to jack the price. So I will tell them, if you're going to screw me on price, I will go somewhere else. As much as I hate the thought of switching, I will go somewhere else. And then, magically, they will pull a bargain out of their ass to keep me because they don't want to lose a customer. But they don't give the customer the bargain right up front. They want you to call and threaten. I will call and threaten. I did it with AT&T. Oh, they begged me. They begged me, please, you've been with us 10 years. No, Ron. We're very limited. That's another problem. I have to look. Besides Spectrum and AT&T, there are two others, but I don't know if they cover this area. Now, see, with AT&T, I can't get the fiber optic high-speed internet in this house because the wiring stops up the street. They never finished running the fiber optic cable through the neighborhood. And Spectrum knows I'm kind of screwed. I will find a different company. Like I say, in order not to lose me, AT&T wanted me to go with this wireless router. Well, I said, yeah, that is fine in a way. But I need to plug into my router my Netgear box because I run all of my computers off of the old internet jack. Even though all of my computers are wireless, I don't run them that way. All my computers are wired. When they sent me this wireless router, the only place I could get a signal was in the far corner of my living room, which means I would have had to run 30 feet of RJ cable into my Netgear box. I said, no, take your Starship Enterprise unit back. So now I have to start looking because, once you have high-speed internet, you don't want to go backwards. I run too much shit. I can't afford to lose the high speed. And Spectrum knows this. So, if they're going to screw me over, I'll bite the bullet and go backwards. They can have their equipment back. As much as I hate doing it, I get the same deal around through consumer. I get the same deal. $20, unlimited calls, unlimited text, and you get a block of data. I don't use data. So I could care less. And, I informed consumer, I said, in January, when my free cell phone service is up, I'm coming back. So Spectrum's going to have to come up with one hell of a deal, because if my bill goes up $1 more, I'm done with them. Well, I have no problem. This phone, this number that's on this phone has been from AT&T to consumer to Spectrum, and it'll go back to consumer. They don't make you change your phone number. The only thing you change is the SIM card. Now my new Motorola phone has that new stupid eSIM. Everything was done electronically. That phone still uses SIM card. So, like I say, when Spectrum free phone service is done, I'll just call consumer and say, send me a new SIM card. And I'm going to try to make the transition as seamless as possible. Basically, the day I get the SIM card will be the day I call Spectrum and tell them I'm done, shut the service off. because I hate having phone service with two companies. But in order for me to get the bargain on my high-speed internet, they had to have a phone, which is stupid because in the long run, I'm paying for the phone. They work that price into the internet bill. As a matter of fact, I'll have to look tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it's the middle of the month. Monday, I'll have to make a call to Spectrum. And ask them, you have any deals to keep me? Otherwise, I'm leaving. And they know I will. But they're not going to renew the phone service because it won't be free. And the whole thing is, Spectrum is renting tower service from AT&T. Consumer Cellular rents tower service from AT&T. I'll be using the same tower. It's down the street behind the police station. So it's not like I'm going to lose a signal or anything. No. I got a cell phone tower. In my younger days, I could throw a rock and hit it. But every year, you end up fighting with a utility company, your cell, your internet service, and I would almost guarantee, in place of the cell phone service, they will probably have a year of free streaming cable. I don't want free streaming cable. I'm happy with what I'm right now. No. There'll be if they want to keep me, they're not going to argue with me. They're going to say, okay, this is the rate. And I'll go, yes or no. And I can guarantee if I say no, I'll get a better rate. Because they don't want to lose me as a customer. But then I have to find another internet supplier. Every year. And it gets aggravating. I mean, I would hate to lose this 1,000-speed internet. But if I have to step backwards, it's a dollar and cents game. Well, Ron, I suggest maybe for dinner, flaming fillet of yak. Probably something you've never had before. The only problem is I think the only place you can get yak meat is Mongolia. So I guess it's leftovers. Well, right, yeah. For every customer they lose money. That's why they'll pull a rate out of their ass that's perfect, but they don't give you that rate up front. They tell you, well, you're paying $60 a month for your high speed internet. It's going to be 85. I'm gone, thank you. Hold on. Uh, the best we can do is 62. I'll think about it. You can't do 60 like I was paying. Let me check with my supervisor. Then they put you on hold and they blow farts and they do a dance. Then they come back on and went, I just had a very serious conversation with my supervisor and she said, yes, we'll do it for 60. And then when you agree and say, okay, I'll stay, they're doing the happy dance. When they put you on hold, they're not talking to no supervisor. It's a smoke screen. The old smoke and mirrors. I'll have to discuss that with my supervisor. Can you please hold, Mr. Grumpy? Yeah. And then they play the music from Jeopardy. Are you still there, Mr. Grumpy? Yeah. My supervisor okayed the price. You're going to stay at the rate you were at. I really fought for you. Yeah, bullshit, you fought for me. The one day the girl on the phone gave me that, oh, I really fought for you. I told her, I says, yeah, and you're sniffing your own farts. And she went, I beg your pardon. Can't cost pennies, Lynx fur. We don't have pennies anymore. They don't mint them. Instead of, raising a customer's blood pressure, when the renewal comes due, don't play a game. Because if the price is going to increase, at least 80% of the people are going to say, fuck you. Just send me a nice email and say, your contract renews at current rate. Well, Kathy, I have been quite happy with Spectrum. I really have. One of the reasons is you don't have to go through a bunch of bullshit to get a live person. An AI person answers the phone and it says, 1 customer service, 2 tech support. You push 1 and immediately you get a live person. I didn't have to learn no code word like with AT&T, screaming in the phone to the point my neighbors heard me because of that AI. Customer service. I didn't understand your command. Representative. I didn't understand your command. So, and if they play the game with me, I'm going to tell them. Evidently, you don't value each customer, because if you did, I would renew at the same rate. But no, you give me a higher rate, then you want me to bitch at you and threaten to quit, and then all of a sudden, you pull this magic number. And then with AT&T, you never speak to the same person twice, because the calls are picked up at a call center around the nation. One day I went right across the United States. I started up in New Jersey. I ended up in matter of fact, I ended up in the Virgin Islands. Because I asked them, where's this call center? Oh, we're in Left Snowshoe, Idaho. Well, I'm trying to talk to Ron. Ron who? Ron from Chicago. Well, sorry, you can't get back to Chicago. And if they don't enter the notes properly, the person answering the phone can't figure out what you're calling about. At least with Spectrum, it goes to one call center, one place. And there are times, if you need to, you can talk to the same person a second time. Because I've already done it. Thanks for calling Spectrum. Jim speaking. Jim, I need to speak to Agnes. Oh, she's busy. I'll hold. Okay. And then, Agnes speaking. Remember me? Yeah, I recognize the voice. Good. Like I say, you push one number. You don't press 2, and then the next thing comes on, you have to press 9, and then you have to press 3, and then, oh shit, I got to replay the menu. You call Spectrum, it's 1 or 2. And then you get a live person. As a matter of fact, when I called to insure the Passat, I bitched at goddamn Progressive because now they've got an AI answering machine. Where it used to be a live person. But at least with the AI, it's the same way. You want a new policy, press 1. You want to change a policy, press 2. You want to report an accident, press 3. That's it. Then once I press 2, my call gets automatically answered because I've been with them 25 years and I'm an Emerald member, which means all them people that are hanging on the phone waiting for someone to answer, my call goes directly first. But it used to be a live person. Thank you for calling Progressive. What do you need, sir? I need to make a change to my policy. Hold on. And then you got transferred. And then you go to the opposite end of the spectrum. Like if I need to call AOL, I need a translator because the person that's attempting to speak English doesn't understand. Hello, my name is John. Yeah, bullshit. I told everybody, and it's probably still true. If you need to call customer service for AT&T after 8 p.m. on Friday and up until 8 a.m. on Monday, the calls automatically go to Pakistan. Because my internet went down and I had such a hard time trying to understand them people. I waited till Monday. I did without internet for a whole weekend. And when I called on Monday, I actually got a living, breathing American. And I said, what the hell's that shit I had to deal with over the weekend? And that's when he told me. 8 p.m. on Friday to 8 a.m. on Monday. Hello, my name is Jessica. You want to try that again, Mahatma Gandhi? There was another reason I was really excited to go with Spectrum, because I asked the girl, I said, do you have 7-day-a-week call answering down there? She said, yes. I said, the calls don't go to like Pakistan or Iran or Timbuktu? She says, no. She says, we have one call center. I said, thanks God. Yeah, you remember that? My name, Jose Jimenez. Everybody laughed. That was his line. He never did anything else. That was it. Hello, my name, Jose Jimenez. So I would utterly hate to have to switch internet service. But like I say, there aren't that many around here. I saw a truck a couple weeks ago. Wow. Wow internet. I'm like, oh, that's got to be a good one. Wow. Not to mention Spectrum service calls. Oh God, they are Johnny on the spot. I had one problem, and I had to call. And the girl told me it'll be an hour. I was like, okay, I can live with an hour. And like 37 minutes later, there's a guy at my house. Hello, I'm from Spectrum. You have a problem? Yeah. He went downstairs where the wire comes in the house, and whatever junction box everything hooked up to went, it shorted out. He went out in the truck, there you go, you're back to 100%. Go up and test your computer. I go, wonderful, we're good to go. And another thing I like is they do their maintenance after 2 a.m. And they will literally send me a text message and say, service will be down from 2 a.m. to 2:30 due to line maintenance. And then 2:31, I'm getting a text message that said service is restored. Oh, yeah, Kathy, I feel sorry for some of these people that, because a lot of companies after COVID, like Ford, 60% of the people are working from home. They downsized their office force. Matter of fact, the CEO of Ford said, we get better production now with people working from home than if they were sitting in the cubicle. But if your internet goes down, yeah, there's a lot of production that isn't getting done. And there are some, people that they run their own business and they're on their internet from home all day long. And if their service goes down and it's not fixed fast, like eBay sellers, you could lose a fortune. Or people streaming, on the internet that basically are monetized from YouTube. If their internet goes down, they're losing a lot of money. But they don't have 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame either. Oh. I got a comment today. They really didn't fly you out for the ceremony? Must have been from you know who. No, they didn't fly me out for the ceremony, unfortunately. There wasn't a big ceremony. I'll let the secret out of the bag for the person that wrote me that email. Temu.com. Temu.com. The best $13 I've ever spent. Yeah, I come across them by accident. I was scanning through the personalize your own walk of fame star. They had some other, well, they weren't, I really, everybody's got everything under the sun. I really wanted to get an Emmy Award. And nobody makes them. It would be neat to have, an Emmy Award. I love that big, fancy, I don't know what the hell it is, but that Daytime Emmy Award would have been cool, but didn't have any on Temu. Because believe me, if they'd have had them, I'd have ordered one. Would have been nice, move the bird and have an Emmy Award sitting back there instead. Oh, shut up. I have to get frames for them. The problem is, the only place that I can get frames is Michael's, and I hate going to that place. Although I do want to get some gold frames for them. I think they look cool with gold frames. Yeah, I was really hoping I could order an Emmy. No luck. You could order a picture. Why somebody would want a picture of an Emmy Award? I want the award. Out of all the shit that they make, you would think. You could get an Emmy Award. You could get, what's that little gramophone award? What the hell's that? I can't think of it. Oh, I can't think of the name of that award. It looks like an old gramophone. That award and what's another one besides the it's called a Grammy? The gramophone makes sense. Yeah, they didn't have that. They had some goofy awards, but it would be like something a company would give for a top salesman or something. I wanted industry related, like a SAG-AFTRA award. They didn't have them either. You could get a picture. The hell do I want a picture? Okay, it's a gramophone, so yeah, that makes sense. A Grammy. I just thought it would be neat to have a shelf up here with a bunch of awards on it. But Timu didn't have anything except the stars. I mean, the neat thing would be like after the Grammy Awards would be on TV, I could say, look at this. I got a Grammy. I gotta quit spending money on stupid shit. But I thought they were neat. You know, I didn't think of that. My buddy's son's got a 3D printer. I'll have to ask him. Can you make me an Emmy with your 3D printer? He makes all kinds of well, he's a design engineer. So they make, experimental parts a lot cheaper to make them out of, plastic than have a die cut and everything. I'll have to ask him. Can you make me an Emmy? I'll pay for the material. And if it turned out perfect, I tell him, hey, you could sell these on eBay. I'll tell you what a 3D printer is. A real fascinating item. And what's more fascinating is you can buy one for your house. I could have one here. But it's designing the program and all that shit. You just don't say, print me an Emmy. But watching that machine, it lays down one little strip at a time. I mean, he made some kind of latching setup, and it took like 14 hours. But when it got done, it was amazing. Here's a roll of plastic cable, and he had this latching assembly when he got done. Well, the new replacement hip joints, knee joints, and elbow joints are all made with 3D printers now. Because they take the exact measurement. Like before, they were kind of like a generic. Now, they do an MRI and they do the exact measurement for a hip joint, and then they send it to a company, and the company makes it with a 3D printer and sends it back to the hospital. But watching my buddy's machine that day, I mean, I only watched for like half an hour, and maybe it was an eighth of an inch. But watching that machine lay down that hot plastic, and I mean, it went around. There were several turns the machine had to make. I could have watched that thing for the full 14 hours it took to make that. I would just. Brr, 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 brr. His son said, "Hey, you're going to get a sore neck." Oh, I enjoy watching this machine. And hot. I made the mistake of almost touching the print head. But, years ago, only a corporation could own one of them. Of course, they were, a gazillion dollars. Now, I don't know if you can buy them at Staples, but I mean, yeah, you set one up in your house. Make your own stuff. One of the biggest users, Jay Leno's shop, because for a lot of them antique cars, they have to make their own parts. And they'll make a plastic part, and then if it has to be metal, they send it to a shop that will cast it. I mean, those machines are, and it's not too much bigger than my goddamn HP printer that I've got here. Yeah, he's got it in the corner of his basement, where his basement office is. There's a big roll of plastic line, and it feeds into something that looks like an HP printer. Modern technology. Amazing. Although this piece of modern technology is pissing me off. I miss using this. And it don't work. I had it plugged in all day. Whatever went haywire, kaput, garbage. Well, the one that he's got, it was like $2,500, and he told me that's not even the best. But yeah, the prices it's amazing. $200, you can get yourself one and make your own spatulas or something. I guess the main thing is the program. How you write the program, which is probably way over my head. Although, like, he's got a scanner too. It is the neatest thing. If he needs to make a gear, say a gear cracks in half, and he needs to make a gear, he puts the broken gear, and then he has this scanner. It's like a giant, looks like a cigar mounted on a little arm. And then he copies the gear into the computer, and then the computer generates a program for, I don't know, I don't understand it all. Well, it's a problem, Kathy. This is not a Logitech. Some generic. Let me see what the name is on it. Nulea. 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 Made in Chennai. Oh. For support, go to support@nulea.com. Well, I guess I'll be going to support tomorrow. No, tomorrow's Sunday. They probably won't work on Sunday. At least they have a website for... Maybe they can figure out what the hell went haywire with it. It just stopped in the middle of a scroll. No, I'm cheap. This thing was like $13. The Logitech one was like $28, and I didn't want to spend the money. Get what you pay for. Although I found one on eBay that is really cool. It looks like a Y. And you got, you know, the right click button, the left click button, and then the ball's in the center. It kind of looks neat. Like I say, it looks like a Y. And you got one click button here, one click, and then the ball's in the center, and you move it with this finger, not your thumb. I think that's $32. Although it's Logitech. Logitech, I'll tell you what, they are like the Cadillac of accessories for computers. They really are. Yeah, well, it depends on, where this, is it going to China or do they have an American? I guess I'll find out when I go to support@nulea.com. Oh, I can't remember. I bought something. What the hell did I buy? Whatever it was. It had like that. Support at forbeats.com, you know. So I send them whatever the problem was with whatever I had. I get an email back a couple of days later, all in Chinese. Didn't do me any good. The whole email, all Chinese. All them little goofy symbols. Oh, that sounds interesting. Well, like I say, this one that I found on eBay, like I say, it's shaped like a Y, and at the bottom end here is where your hand rests. And then basically you click with these two fingers, and this finger is on the roller ball. So you would click with the thumb, click with the index, and your pointer finger is on the ball. It says $32.99 or make offer. So I think I'll lowball the guy and see what he comes back with. Although I'll tell you what, this mouse, hang on, goddamn wires all over the place. Brr. I like this mouse. It's very comfortable. Not to mention it's got fancy lights on it. But it's corded. This trackball that I'm looking at for 30 some bucks is cordless. I just don't like having all kinds of cords all over the place. But maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a fix for this thing. I mean, I loved, the ease of operation with this one. But like I say, I was scrolling and then all of a sudden and no matter what I do, it won't turn on. Turn it on, don't do nothing. Turn it off, don't do nothing. Maybe there's a fix for it. I haven't had it a year, or maybe the thing's got a warranty. I don't know. One of them things where you take it out of the box and you don't bother reading the instructions. But we'll find out when I email them. support@newlia.com. We're gonna end in about 15 minutes because my ribs will be done. They've been in the oven at 275. And at 8:30 will be 3 hours. Then it's time to take them out of the aluminum foil, slather them with barbecue sauce, and put them under the broiler. And I went up and I got another slab today. $7.95 and nice and meaty. Baby backs. Last day of the sale. I had to pick through about 10 slabs of ribs until I got one that was nice and meaty. And then Ollie says to me, yeah, good old Olivia, she goes, didn't you buy them yesterday? I said, yeah. You ate them all already? I said, well, tonight I'll have the other half. Are they good? I said, if they weren't good, Olivia, I wouldn't be buying another slab. Then I asked her, I said, where's your pepper spray? In my coat pocket. Good. I said, where does Anna carry her pepper spray? In her coat pocket. I said, good. Then she tells me, she goes, I almost sprayed myself. I thought, what? She goes, oh, I was playing with I took it off of safety. I said, oh, you're going to be in for a real treat if you spray yourself. I said, if you spray yourself, don't do it inside your car. Rollerball Trackman. I'll be on eBay in the morning checking it out. See, I shouldn't have been cheap. You know, Logitech is a tried and true proven. I mean, you know, they make Blue Yeti microphones. There's only one better, and that's Shure. So, you know, well, like that Logitech camera I had up here before I put this one up. I had that camera for 5 years. Never a problem with it. Well, really, Ron, when you come down to a $35.99, I mean, you're buying the name, and you know that the name is quality. I've had many Logitech products over the years, and they've never let me down. I just hate paying the money. But you see, I got what I paid for. I went with a half price Chinese piece of crap, and I've only had it like 6, 7 months. So you get what you pay for. I learned another lesson. Well, yeah. You know, it's like the old supply and demand. We've got the supply, so we'll demand the price. Once Logitech got popular, yeah, their prices went up on everything across the board. But they've got top-notch products. I can't knock Logitech. I really can't. Like I say, I went cheap, and I got what I paid for. Lesson learned. But will I learn and retain that lesson? No, because I'll do something stupid again. I'll buy something cheap, and then 6, 7 months when it breaks, I'll bitch about it. Like I say, that camera, 5 years, it's been on, Christ, 6 different computers, 7 different computers, swapping it back and forth. I've got it plugged into this computer over here, the one I use to test stuff. Works perfect. Well, see, same way with me, you know. Not basketball players' hands, but that's what I liked about this mouse. I mean, I just lay my hand on it, And you can see basically how I operated it, and it was so comfortable. My wrist didn't get tired because you're not moving the damn. All you're doing is getting carpal thumb. But the ball spins so easy. Geez. So I say, you get what you pay for. Now I have a paperweight. That's like the idiot today delivering my medication. I hear knocking on the front door. I don't answer. A couple minutes later, I hear knocking on the side door. He said, I was at the front door. I said, did you almost trip and fall off the porch stepping over the signs that say deliver the side door? You go, yeah. I said, well, what were you knocking on the front door for? What does it say in the instructions? Because they always ask at the hospital, any special instructions? I said, yes, deliver the side door. I said, what does it say right here under special instructions? Deliver to side door. What were you doing out front? He had to step over the wire with the sign, and then all over the front door are signs, delivered side door, delivered side door. My printer went berserk that day. What does it say right here? Deliver the side door. Bingo. And I told him, had you tripped and broke a leg, you weren't suing me. What's with these delivery companies nowadays? I finally got uni taken off of the word is out. All eBay sellers have been notified. Do not ship uni. And then Amazon, not once, twice. Although I ordered, it's an illuminated address box. It's 36 inches tall, and the numbers go down. And it's solar powered. It lights up at night. When it gets here, I will put that. I have a big, huge flower pot. I'll move it in the middle of the porch so that I can put the sign in the flower pot. Then I will hang the banner on the front door because the banner will cover my address. So I got to wait until I get this address box. Then if anybody delivers to the front door, I'm going to shoot them. I showed the sign to Jasmine, my letter carrier. She laughed so hard I thought she was going to piss herself. She goes, you got to be kidding me. I said, no. I said they deliver right underneath the sign that says, do not deliver here. But I told her I can't put it up until I get the address box. Because then I'll get, well, we couldn't find your house. We didn't see your address. This way, at night, it will light up with the numbers. And I'll put that flower pot at the bottom, right on the sidewalk before you step up on the porch, right in the middle. I'll put the address box in it so that it's centered. And then I'll put the banner up. And then once the banner is up, we'll take bets on who is going to be the first delivery company to leave a package on the front porch. I mean, I could understand Uni or GoFo Express or SpeedX. Amazon? Of all companies, Amazon. As a matter of fact, you know what? If I actually thought an email would get to Jeff Bezos, I would write an email and include the pictures. And I'll say, what kind of people you got here? Although I noticed something interesting. When I was sending back the second camera in the drop-down box, it says improper delivery, and then at the bottom it said improper drone delivery. He has delivery drones. That would be interesting. See the drone looking at my porch? All of a sudden make a right turn. Drop it at my side door. Yeah, it said improper drone delivery. I would like to see that. I would love to see a drone drop a package. Although if anybody's it'll be him. It must be nice having so much money that you would never spend it in 10 lifetimes. Him and good old Elon Musk. Although I read an article the other day, is she 23 or 24? 24-year-old girl started some internet company. And at 24 years old, she's already a billionaire. I cannot imagine being 24 years old and being a billionaire. I can't remember what the company, some internet, I don't know if it's an investing company or something, but she's a billionaire. Unbelievable. Christ, at 24, what the hell was I? I was working for the county. rebuilding engines in my garage. Well, it's rib time. Time to take the ribs out of the aluminum foil, slather them with barbecue sauce, and put them under the broiler until the sauce bubbles. That's what the recipe says. Why can't I find my outro music? What the hell happened here? We know where, right here, the home of the Twin Star Walk of Fame. And with that, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thanks for being here. And we will meet again tomorrow night. And with that, take care, everyone. See ya. Oh, take two. See ya.